Some changes don't require grand events. They begin in stillness on a quiet morning when the first light of day gently filters through the window, when your first breath slows and your mind suddenly realizes life can be deeper than this. Not by adding more, but simply by pausing long enough to truly see. People often live for years, even decades, in silent inertia. Each day passes like a copy of the last, eerily similar. They wake up, work, stay busy, and then drift back into sleep with a vague sense that something is missing. Not material things, but real life itself. You could call it a state of just existing where the body functions, but the spirit fades like a candle still burning, but no longer giving light. A single moment of awareness can change everything. When someone pauses amid the flow of routine and asks themselves, how am I really living? That is when awakening begins. True change doesn't come from the desire to act differently, but from the recognition that you cannot continue as before. There's no need to abandon work, no need to seek a new place. Simply look back at yourself with the rare honesty that a hurried life has made you forget. Stoicism teaches that happiness doesn't come from controlling circumstances, but from the ability to control your own reactions. And that is the spirit of this week, a week of intentional living. Not to become perfect, but to become real. Not to change others, but to change your perspective. Not to rush forward, but to pause at the right moment. In this video, we'll explore 5 small habits and simple things that carry the power to transform the way you see life. These are not secret formulas for success, but rituals of awakening. Each habit is a lesson Stoicism has taught me, that happiness doesn't lie in adding more, but in letting go, shedding the excess. Discarding habits that weaken us and releasing thoughts that pull us away from the present. The first habit is extremely important. Wake up early. Reclaim your agency. Mornings are the symphony of disciplined souls. While the world still sleeps, those who master the dawn have already won the first victory of the day, not against anyone else, but against their own instinct to delay. Waking up early is not just a habit of the successful, it is a ritual for those who respect time. The sunrise is not just light, it is a reminder that opportunity still exists. Those who start the day in a rush often fail to realize that they have let the world shape their minds before they could shape it themselves. When you open your eyes and immediately reach for your screen, your mind is pulled into the whirlwind of others, notifications, news, comparisons, expectations. But the early riser in silence hears their own voice before hearing the noise of the world. In that moment, they do not chase the day, they create it. It is not the sunlight that makes the morning valuable, but the quiet it carries. In that stillness, everything seems to pause. Breaths become steadier, the mind clearer, and thoughts that were once murky now gain transparency. Stoicism calls this the hour of awareness, the moment when the soul can see itself clearly before being swept away by the crowd. Those who hold on to this stillness are not easily defeated, no matter how chaotic the day becomes. Waking up early is not about doing more. It is about living slower. Slower to observe, slower to choose, slower to begin the day with clarity instead of instinct. People often think of time as the enemy, that it is always scarce, always chasing them. But those who rise early understand that time is not something to beat, it is something to move with. When mind and time harmonize, the energy of the day becomes ordered, not a feeling of racing, but a sense of mastery. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "In the morning, when you don't want to get out of bed, remember that you were born to act as a human being." Humans were not born to procrastinate, but to move, to create, to live consciously. Every time you rise early, you affirm that inner strength. Even something as simple as stepping barefoot onto a cool floor, pouring a glass of water, or opening a window to breathe each is a silent victory, a victory over the desire to give up. No greatness begins with applause. It begins quietly in the moments when someone chooses to rise even when no one is watching. The winner is not the one who does the most, but the one who is most consistent. And consistency is forged not in moments of inspiration, but in sluggish mornings, when the easiest choice is to stay in bed and the hardest is to stand. Yet it is that very step, however small, that initiates a chain of lasting change. The difference between the master of the day and the one controlled by it lies in the first few hours. The first begins consciously, the latter reacts. When you first wake, your mind is in its purest state, untainted by worry or pressure. If you allow the world to enter before you do, you spend the entire day being pulled along. But if you start proactively, the rhythm of your day aligns with your own intention. No one can master life without mastering the morning. The morning is a miniature reflection of life itself. Some let it pass, some turn it into a ritual. That small difference creates entirely different destinies. If there is an image that defines true freedom, it is the image of a person awake before dawn, not compelled, not called, but choosing deliberately to begin. The sunrise is the universe's fairest test. It comes equally to all, but only those who know how to see it truly touch it. Before the sun rises, when light is just enough to see your own breath, that is a rare moment of complete wakefulness, not because of caffeine or pressure, but because of conscious will. Rising early is not merely a habit, it is a declaration that a person will no longer be dragged along by life, but will learn to lead it. And when the first light of day streams in, not only does the sun rise, the consciousness of the person does as well. The second habit is to move every day. A weak body cannot hold a strong mind. This is a simple law that many forget. When the body grows frail, the mind is dragged down with it, losing focus, willpower, and even the ability to regulate emotions. People often mistake this for a lack of motivation, when in reality, they are simply depleted of life energy. Daily movement is not just about changing your physique, it's about awakening your spirit. When blood flows faster, when the heartbeat pounds in the chest, the entire body reminds you of a simple truth: I am alive. In that moment, thoughts of work, messages, or exhausting responsibilities fade. What remains is life itself coursing through every breath. This is what Stoicism calls pure presence. The body is the temple of the mind. If you want clarity of thought, do not allow this temple to decay. Each step out of your comfort zone, each drop of sweat, is a reaffirmation of will. Exercise not only strengthens muscles, but also builds endurance, discipline, and the ability to overcome laziness, the greatest enemy of self-mastery. When the body is tired, do not fear it. Fatigue is the language of progress. Sweat is proof of transformation. The burn in each muscle fiber is the dialogue between your old instincts and the new self being formed. In those moments, if you truly listen, you'll notice something extraordinary. The fatigue ceases to feel like a burden and becomes evidence that you are living rightly, fully, and consciously. A person, whether man or woman, who makes daily movement a habit understands a fundamental truth. Strength doesn't come from the gym. It comes from the moment when you want to quit but keep going. When your final step is taken even as your heart races, that is when the spirit becomes sharpest. When sweat falls unseen, that is when you shed the need for recognition and begin true growth. Movement is a rebellion against the stagnation that pervades modern life. Every day, millions remain trapped in chairs, hunched backs, tired shoulders, minds growing cold. They forget that the body was born to move, not to sit, and a mind locked in a still body gradually becomes anxious, easily agitated, and weak against even the smallest challenges. Sweating, then, is not only about physical strength, it's training the ability to stand firm amid adversity. Awakening begins through motion. Someone who wishes to change their life but refuses to change their breathing will remain frozen. As the body moves, the mind begins to flow. Ideas surface, energy circulates, clarity returns. And soon it becomes clear. Every drop of sweat cleanses a negative thought. True strength doesn't need to be loud or displayed. It is simply the ability to stand tall, breathe deeply, and continue, even when no one is watching. In a world full of noise and laziness, those who maintain the habit of daily movement are not just healthy, they are still alive with willpower. The third habit is keeping a journal. There is a kind of courage few speak of, the courage to sit alone with yourself. In a world where everyone rushes to speak, few learn how to listen. And sadly, the person we often avoid the most is not others, but ourselves. Journaling is more than a habit. It is a ritual of honesty. It forces you to strip away all the roles society has imposed, to confront the true nature of your inner self where there is no one to blame, no one to prove anything to, only you and the truth. Every line you write acts as a mirror. In that mirror, you cannot lie. When the pen touches paper, you see clearly what you have hidden behind your busyness, your fears, your pain, your secret desires. Writing is not about embellishment, it is about illumination. For the mind, if left unexamined, soon becomes a labyrinth, and those who do not observe their own thoughts will be controlled by them. Stoic philosophy views writing as a tool for self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations not to teach others, but to teach himself. Each night he recorded his thoughts, his reactions, and the things he wished to do differently the next day. This is how the wise train the mind, by facing oneself, without judgment, without avoidance. For only when we understand how we think can we truly understand how we live. Journaling brings vague emotions into the light. The things that worry us often grow larger in the darkness of uncertainty, but once they are written down, they lose their power. Each word is a cut that untangles the knots in the mind. Thoughts once seen clearly often shrink to the point of making us smile. And sometimes what we need to escape chaos is not an answer, but the ability to see the truth with clear eyes. Those who know how to write are those who know how to listen to themselves. In modern life, where noise overwhelms everything, writing is a way to return to the quiet space within the soul. When we write, we are no longer fleeing our emotions. We become observers of them. When we write, we are no longer victims of the mind, but its masters. In the very act of writing, the things that once seemed chaotic begin to find order. Writing is also a lesson in mental discipline. To sit down and write requires stillness. To write honestly requires courage. To write consistently requires perseverance. Those who write do more than record life. They organize it. They learn to look back on a day through the eyes of an observer, not a reactive participant. And from that practice, they gradually become calmer, less angry, less fearful, because everything has been brought into the light of awareness. Nothing is as clear as a blank page. It does not judge, interrupt, or react. It quietly holds everything, like a friend who never leaves. Whenever emotions surge, let them flow through the pen instead of spilling from the mouth. Emotions expressed on paper dissipate. Emotions swallowed whole smolder quietly inside. Writing is not about recording the day, it's about capturing yourself within that day. When reading past entries, you can see how much you have changed, not because life itself has shifted, but because your perspective on it has. Journals are not merely evidence of memory, they are maps of growth and maturation. Writing teaches a profound lesson. The truth itself never harms. It is resistance to the truth that causes pain. And when you have the courage to face yourself honestly through each line, you realize that peace is not something to be found. It is something created through absolute honesty with your own soul. Screen limits. Regaining mental freedom is also a powerful habit for transforming your life. Blue light is the modern world's artificial sunrise. Bright yet cold, it hits eyes already accustomed to distraction, convincing us we're connected, when in reality, we're sinking deeper into isolation. Never before in history have humans been able to access the whole world with a single finger, but never have they been so disconnected from themselves. Slavery doesn't begin when we're tied up. It begins when we no longer recognize that we're being held. Screens don't imprison anyone, yet they make us forget to lift our heads. That seemingly harmless scroll steals the most precious thing Stoicism emphasizes: attention. A person may lose money, reputation, even status, but when they lose the ability to focus, they lose the ability to steer their own life. The digital world is built to occupy the mind, not liberate it. Every swipe releases dopamine, a fleeting pleasure that tricks us into thinking we're living, while our minds slowly grow numb. Like a thirsty person drinking salt water, the more they consume, the hungrier they become. Eventually, many forget what true stillness even feels like. Mental freedom does not come from throwing away your phone, it comes from setting boundaries for it. Boundaries are not deprivation, they are the art of protecting your energy. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "You become what you spend your time on." When your attention is trapped daily in tiny rectangles, your mind shrinks with it. Everything great in a human being, from thought to creativity to compassion, requires space. And the digital world is a place where that space is compressed to suffocation. The frightening thing isn't technology, it's dependence disguised as convenience. People believe they control their phones, but in reality, they check them as a compulsive ritual. They say, "I need to stay updated." But what they're really seeking is a sense of existence. Every notification taps into insecurity, fear of being left out, fear of silence, fear of being unseen. The irony is that constant connection disconnects them from themselves. Silence is no longer appreciated because it makes no sound. Yet Stoicism teaches that all true wisdom grows in stillness. A mind filled with news, images, and meaningless noise has no room for understanding. And the tragedy is, people don't even notice. They're too busy to realize they're busy. Setting screen limits isn't an act of rebellion against technology, it's the mind's revolt against distraction. When we pause consciously, we assert that no one has the right to commandeer our attention. A day doesn't require complete withdrawal from the world. Just 1 hour away from the information stream is enough to reconnect with something essential we've forgotten. Our breath, the wind through the window, the real heartbeat of life. Epictetus said, "It is not the man who is bound who is a slave, but the one who does not know he is controlled." Every time we pick up our phones unconsciously, that is the moment. But when we set them down intentionally, we reclaim control not only over the device, but over our minds. Some fear silence because it exposes the voice within too clearly. Yet it is in that very moment that a person truly returns. Without stillness, there is no awareness. Without awareness, there is no freedom. And mental freedom does not come from taps on a screen. It comes from actively choosing moments of deliberate inaction. A person who masters time is not the one with the most hours in the day, but the one who chooses wisely what deserves their time. Screen limits are not about leaving the world behind. They are about returning to the real world. Real faces, real voices, real breaths. It's not just a way to protect the eyes, it's a way to rescue the soul. True progress isn't about connecting faster, it's about knowing when to disconnect. Sometimes just a few quiet, screen-free minutes is enough to rediscover something that 100 hours of scrolling never could: yourself. The final habit this video wants to highlight is evening preparation, winning before tomorrow begins. Every great beginning starts with a proper ending. Tomorrow doesn't truly begin in the morning. It begins in how we close out tonight. When the world falls into chaos, those who know when to pause are quietly building their advantage. A peaceful evening is not just a reward for a long day, it is the foundation for the day ahead. Nothing exhausts the mind more than a day left unresolved. Many live in a continuous stream of days, carrying the thoughts, worries, and pressures of today to bed, only to wake up with the same weight the next morning. The body rests, but the mind remains awake, and so they start the next day with yesterday's clutter, heavy, tired, unclear. Those who prepare their evening, however, are different. They don't carry that chaos to bed. They put it aside, organize, and let it go. Night is where a person confronts themselves when nothing else distracts them. Soft lights, slow breathing, and the stillness of the space invite reflection on the day that has passed. Not to blame, but to understand. In looking back, one sees not only mistakes, but effort, progress, and reasons for gratitude. These small acts of reflection prevent living blindly. They allow yesterday to inform tomorrow rather than weigh it down. Some see the evening as just the leftover hours of the day, but for those who understand the essence of discipline, evening is the starting point of the future. How they tidy their desk, put things back in place, or jot down a few notes for the next day, this is not mere routine. It is ritual. A ritual not to do more, but to live with intention. No one can master tomorrow without learning to let go of today. And this doesn't come from intellect alone. It comes from respect for time. Stoics believe that each day is a microcosm of life itself, beginning, challenge, and end. And if that small life isn't consciously closed, a person gradually loses their sense of completeness. A day left unfinished is a circle that can never be whole. As the lights in the room fade, Let the darkness become a space for renewal, not anxiety. A mind burned out by news, work, and expectations must relearn the art of proper rest. Rest is not an escape, it is preparation. No one can win if they carry exhaustion into a new day. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Tranquility is the place where the soul regains its strength to continue acting." Night is the place where that soul is revived. There is a quiet beauty in those who end the day with order. They do not seek productivity, they seek balance. When they power down devices, close books, and clear their desks, they send a message to their mind, enough for today. That moment of enough frees them from an invisible sense of lack, the kind that leaves people tired even when doing nothing. In Stoic philosophy, preparation does not come from fear of failure, but from reverence for tomorrow. A day met with readiness is entirely different from a day begun in chaos. When a person arranges their space, they are also arranging their mind. And in a volatile world, these small acts of discipline become a shield that keeps them steady. Night is not the period at the end of a sentence. It is the comma between two chapters of life. In its quiet, we have the chance to pause, breathe, give thanks, and prepare for the journey ahead. Those who appreciate the evening rarely lose their way during the day. For dawn is not a reward for those who rise early. It is a gift for those who know how to close properly. No real change begins externally. One can force themselves to wake early, exercise, journal, turn off their phone, or plan for tomorrow. But if the inner self is still cloudy, if awareness still sleeps, all effort is just a small ripple in an ocean of unconsciousness. Habits are not the destination, they are tools. What creates real change is not the repetition itself, but the awareness of why you act. Change is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to who you already are before being swept away by noise, haste, and the fear of falling behind. People often think they must strive to become better, but Stoicism says, don't try to become, just stop resisting your true nature. When the dust of illusion is brushed away, when a pretense ceases, clarity naturally emerges, and that is change. Stoic living is not closed off or cold. It is a life of clarity. The clear-minded do not judge, do not fear, do not rush. They live fully in every moment, knowing that each moment is part of a larger picture. They do not seek to change the world to feel at peace. They become peaceful in order to influence the world. At some point, everyone has their own week of awakening, a brief period enough to shift perspective. No need to do more, no need to try harder, just be truly present. Because one day lived with awareness is worth more than 100 days lived unconsciously. Ultimately, Stoicism does not teach us how to conquer life, but how not to be conquered by it. Not through physical strength, but through a steady mind. Not by controlling the world, but by mastering the world within. And when you achieve that, you don't just change your life, you redefine happiness itself. If this video resonates with you, share one small change you will make this week, not for applause, but to mark the moment you begin your own journey. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Not to follow another channel, but to remind yourself that every week, there's still a place that encourages you to slow down and live more authentically.